How's your day, Keith?
Can't complain.
Where's the baby?
Let me go grab him.
Brandy and Molly's. I know that's really weird that you just saw me move my watch messages with my nose, but whatever. We're all
Oh, you were
friends.
kissing.
We're all friends here. Lindsay said that she has something going on right now. She might hop on later.
Carmen's about to get on. She was on the phone.
Molly, it's your birthday. She can do what the hell she wants to. And so Molly and Brandy's driftwood is, yes. Hello.
See his shirt? Probably can't read it, right?
He died.
Oh, I woke up like this? That's awesome.
Hello.
There's the birthday girl.
You want us to sing now or later? You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go.
Hi, sorry.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What, you got big plans this afternoon?
Just hanging out in the yard.
Jay gonna cook you dinner or what?
I think that they're about to go to pick up Peddler Steaks.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
You were given a very knowing glance over there off to the side.
No,
Just,
I
you
was
said
like,
that's
we're
what you were
gonna do
doing,
steaks.
right?
Yeah. So Jay was like, no, we're gonna do hamburgers. I was like, like, we're gonna do steak. Like,
All right, I'm gonna go put him back.
Okay. Bye, little buddy.
He's so cute. Oh my gosh.
Hey, does anybody recognize the name Charles Brown as a chef at like Sobeys or any of those places?
No. Why?
He says he used to be a chef at Local Q, Sobeys, Nosedive.
Really?
No, he's on my Nextdoor app saying that he's not working and he's like smoking pork and brisket and wings and prime rib and all kinds of stuff selling it.
I could vet him through Kenneth Crib real quick, see if he knows him.
I don't know, he's got a lot of interest.
Well, I mean, I would too.
Yeah, he lives in Del Norte.
I mean, it seems legitimate to me. That being said, okay, what we'll do here is, since I don't know, I know that there's a couple of people that are probably going to jump on here shortly, but have not as of yet. Let's just go ahead and get rolling. I mean, really, honestly, and this will be in video format too, just so don't feel like pigeonholed into having to take notes or do this or that. I mean, I really wanted to have kind of an interactive discussion with a lot of you. I think that this being a smaller group setting, and especially with you, Keith, and you, Carmen, having y'all here, I think this could be a really beneficial thing for us to start working on, quite frankly, new, shoot, my video went away. There's, anyhow, the biggest thing for me right now is trying to find ways that, like what we do now, and I touched on this on Wednesday, but what we do now is going to be determinant of what happens when we get out on the other side of this, right? So more than anything, stressful times, we all tend to react differently. It's almost like when you're squeezed, an orange gets squeezed. Well, tomato juice doesn't come out of an orange when it's squeezed. It's what's inside of the orange to start with. And for us to be able to at least focus on something that we can control, like I can't control what goes on in the world writ large. I can't control how other people behave. I can control how I behave. And I'm guilty of it too. I haven't really taken up the habits of utilizing all the tools available to us that we've got at our disposal that can help us continue to do business. Keith, Carmen, you both got business going on right now, and it's not stopping for anybody. Whatever somebody decides to do, whatever the president decides to do, we can still do everything start to finish just exactly the same way that we're doing it right here. And so, from my perspective, I think the first key piece of this is to stop for a minute, because we can stop for a second and say, let's focus on a couple of different things. One is what's going on in our minds, and then let's pivot to what's happening in the marketplace right now. So first things first, like what's running through both of y'all's minds right now in terms of uncertainty, what you want to know, what you want to get from the next 30 minutes or so, and what can I do to help? And feel free to unmute. So Keith, what's running through your mind?
As far as like what's going on?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think we're just going to run into some people that are nervous and don't want to do anything right now and want to hit the pause button. And we're going to have some people that want to move forward. Last weekend I had some people press pause, and mid next week I should have another listing coming up. They're ready to roll. I mean, it's just, and some people are looking at this differently. You get mixed info from everyone. I mean, some people think it's a huge deal. Some people don't think it's quite that big of a deal. Me personally, I think it's a pretty big deal as far as like how bad this thing is. So, but it's just a mix of folks, and how do we make them feel a little more comfortable making the decision now? And, basically getting numbers, of how many new listings are hitting the market and that kind of thing. So we can take it and be like, hey, this real estate's still moving. It's still going. Things are still selling. New listings are popping up. I mean, if we can get some kind of numbers together or something, like an update once a week or twice a week of, new listings for that week or whatever, just to kind of show that things are still happening. And if they list their house, they're not just going to be, sitting there.
And that's something that would be beneficial for everybody to be able to push that out like Monday morning.
Right.
I'll work on that.
Because I think people kind of think things are on a standstill right now. And really in real estate, I don't really think it's standing still at all yet. Unless they put us all on lockdown. Once they do that, then I'm sure it'll stand still, but that hasn't happened yet. So
yeah. And between you and I am to understand that shelter in place order is going to go into effect at some point today or tomorrow. So, but for us, that doesn't really affect our day to day because we've been deemed essential. So we actually can get out and go do, be that what it may. Carm, what's on your mind?
I was going to say, I mean, same thing as Keith. Like I've got people that want to stand still just because, and it's more obviously buyers, but I have sellers that are ready to sell and that need to. I have 2 that are relocating. So we have to sell in the next, probably we're going to go on the market in the next few weeks. So that's kind of been an issue because they've got to move no matter what. I did have an agent call yesterday and asked if my seller would be interested in a later close date. And I was like 60 days. And she was like, well, when all of this is over. And I said, well, we don't know when it'll all be over. So what are you saying? And she was like, 4 to 6 months. And I was like, I don't think so. I just I was like, we might as well just take off the market. I don't even know.
I mean, as long as you can do a title search and close the funding for the purchase, then
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's no
But
reason.
I said, I don't know where they're going to if they're getting a loan, what bank is going to wait. They're not going to lock in a rate 6 months out, and your job could change or something could happen. I just thought that was crazy that they asked for that.
Wow. Yeah, that's one of the first examples I've heard of that, of somebody just pushing something out to an open-ended close date, which that just doesn't make sense for anybody involved.
Yeah. So I don't know. But that's it.
It might change going forward, but for right now, I mean, we're just dealing with a couple more weeks of lag time for funding of loans. So until everything just hits the total pause button, which I don't see that happening at any time, it might in fits and starts. And as I'm aware of, jumbo loans are no longer a thing from at least a couple of different servicers. Wells Fargo is done with jumbos right now. Obviously, community banks are much more flexible.
Do you want to hear from the lender?
Yes.
Come tell us.
Will, come get on video, buddy.
What am I talking about?
I heard a rumor that Wells is no longer doing jumbos for the next 6 months.
Well, obviously when we're doing jumbos, we're putting them with a different investor, and what they've basically done to us is just their rate, like a jumbo rate. If I tried to lock something, would be at 5.5%. It's basically what they pretty much cut it off by just raising their rates. And the stuff that was locked, a couple of weeks ago before they kind of cut it off, they're saying, 60 to 90 days.
Okay.
So, but Wells could have completely cut it off. I know there were lenders that, last week wouldn't even allow people to lock. They could start an application, start the process, but they wouldn't even allow them to lock. So.
Yeah. And again, too, product to product, it varies. And some of them are in, some of the services are in over their skis. So we just got to play every single situation individually, I guess, right now. Yeah.
And I would assume other lenders are doing it too, but obviously every lender's got a ton of refis right now, just with what rates did. But basically purchases, we're still fine 30 days, or less. Basically purchases, those are first priority. The refis, they'll get done when they get done. So, we're purchases on underwriting, we're getting them back same day they're submitted from underwriting. So, and I'm sure other lenders are doing it that way as well.
Okay. Well, good. That's helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Go get those steaks.
Yeah.
I know I'm about to have to leave.
Ashley or Caitlin, we're just to jog you guys up to speed. We're just a little short group discussion on what's on your minds right now and what you see and what you have seen or what you would like to discuss. So Ashley first, Caitlin second.
Okay. Well, basically, I think I've kind of told you, Tracy and I've got older people that we're working with. So we're kind of just on right now. I've kind of talked to you about things that I want to work on personally and kind of go out there. But right now, the 3 clients that we have, well, 2 are from New York. So I'm kind of like, you can stay in New York. And then the other 2 are just older people that we're just going to wait, unfortunately, until all this goes, because they don't want people coming in their homes. So with the virtual, I just think that it's just best. One's 90 and one's 60 something. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern.
Okay. Caitlin, what about you?
That I had one guy that we were going to put an offer in on something and he had changed his mind.
Right.
And he texted me yesterday saying that Mexico has decided to close all their automotive production for a month, or for the month of April. And he works for Bosch, which I know Bosch makes like,
Okay.
so I don't know if that directly influences his job, and that's why he's gonna kind of wait, but he's gonna wait till May to start making offers on houses again, which we were writing up an offer just the other day, and he kind of just last minute not to. And not only that, like, is anyone having issues with the inspection period, like getting inspectors out to houses?
I've seen a couple of, I mean, I've seen a couple of different issues just based around scheduling, but nothing as it directly relates to whether or not the inspector is willing to go out to the house or perform any of the work. No, not yet.
Okay.
Now, that may change, but not yet.
Okay.
Have you?
Well, I am about to put in an offer for someone. So we did 60 days out. I was just nervous, and he's nervous that we just won't be able to get everything done in time. But hopefully it'll be enough time.
Well, I mean, really the only issue that I would see that would arise is that just exactly like everybody's touched on so far, that the people that need to get stuff done need to get stuff done, and the stuff that's under contract we need to rock and roll. So the only impediment to that I would see is that they would be the inspector or the repair people would be overbooked and just have to take different levels of precautions. But so far, I haven't seen anything come across in terms of delays for.
Because I'm already running into issues trying to get a hold of the HOA management company because he wants to see their financials, and I'm like, will you just call me back? Like, I know you're checking your voicemails. Just call me back.
That's a literal daily struggle trying to communicate with HOAs. I mean, and I know that you and I talked about that yesterday, Caitlin. And so it's just you would think it would be a simple process, but oftentimes it is probably the most frustrating game of phone tag you'll ever play. Or, well, actually one-ended phone tag. You call a whole bunch of times and nobody ever picks up. So that's just the name of the game for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be able to submit that offer soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so for the next little bit, what I'm going to do is, and hopefully this will work, bear with while I do. Okay. Don't laugh at me, because essentially what I want to talk about, again, the topic of all this is trying to pivot to digital marketing in an era where we really can't get up close and personal with our people. And I know this is contrived to say, let's all agree it's time to make a YouTube video, but I'm really not kidding in this regard. And what that means really is I've got two hopes here from all of this. It's not totally revolving around video, but it sort of revolves around video, just because it's an easy way for you guys to just make human connections with everyone, not just in your circle, but just in the entire world that we live in right now. And I have two hopes for today. One is for you to gain a perspective and an understanding of a way to make a plan, start a process to help you adapt as the world is changing. But let's just come out and say it. This is kind of some stuff that we've needed to work on for a while now, right? And if we can make a plan to just pick one thing, do one thing, start there. It's almost like in Cinderella, okay? And all she wants is a ticket to the ball, right? The fairy godmother produces the ticket, but it's all torn to shreds. And she says, oh, don't worry about everything being perfect, just go do it, right now, the goal isn't perfect, because right now, what is known to me is that perfect is impossible right now, but done is possible. And so even if we can pick a couple of things to focus on, and we'll touch on what those tools and tactics and strategies are in a minute, but really just one plan to start. And if it's for the next 30 days, that's great. If it's for the next 60 days, that's super. But really, the second goal is to take something away that you can be fueled by, to then go out and continue it 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever that may be, to continue that habit long term. It's not about going to go do it tomorrow. It's about figuring out something that you can do and stick with. And it looks a little bit different. That's why it's going to take a while to get used to it. And it focuses on lead measures versus lag measures. Now, I don't know how well-versed everybody is in terms of what all that means, but essentially it's what you put in, the work you put in 6 months ago determines where we are right now. I mean, that is just the truth. Me stepping on the scale today, or me trying to go run a mile for time, those are things that are determined. What the output is for that, what the mile time and what the scale says, isn't what I did this morning. It's what I've done for the past 6 months on a consistent basis. And so while we need to be present right now, and it's just taking little baby steps, really, it's trying to find a way to make 5 extra text messages, trying to email the people that are close to us, reaching back out to our past and current clients. All of those things are important right now, but it's by design. And really, the thing is that now more than ever, it's important for us to be present and be mindful of the fact that, yes, business needs to occur. And if we're in a business mindset, a transaction mindset, so let's say, for example, you have a committed or willing buyer or seller, then yes, by all means, let's take this to the transactional side of the business, which is where we all just know how to make all that stuff happen. But research phase buyers, research phase sellers, people that are pumping the brakes, now is the time to just totally not ignore, but set aside for a little while the realtor hat and put on the friend or the next door neighbor or the person that you met at church hat. That's now is the time to just fully put that hat on with no ulterior motive in mind. And so, honestly, this is it. This is everything for me, for us, and what we've already discussed. What's going on in our heads and what we're all thinking of. More than likely, everybody else that we're working with is thinking the same thing. And just to be aware of that, but then know that we've got a job to do. There are just different phases of that job that we need to implement. And thank God for technology, because we can actually utilize different tools and take a different approach to help you leverage the tools that we have in place, not just company tools, but the other free stuff that we use to connect with people on a daily basis. And finally, make that plan, give you the fuel to actually go do the plan consistently and on a long-term basis. And some of y'all are probably saying, but what's the real deal here? Okay, here's the meat and potatoes of this whole entire project for today. It's about being human. It's about calling, texting, emailing, doing whatever to connect with people. Now, there's a million different ways that you can do that, whether it's through Videolicious, and I'll walk you through that if you're interested. And a lot of you are going, oh God, I don't know what I have no idea what I'm doing with all this stuff, right? I don't have a concrete grasp on, I'm not a savant for video producing, video production, editing, and all that stuff. I just know that doing it is more important than doing it perfectly right now. Doing it helps you get to a point where then you learn how to perfect the craft. There's a lot of different studies and data that show YouTube channels, podcasts, other social media influence type followings. It takes anywhere between 1 and 2 years to grow that audience. That's all well and good. And if that's something that you want to endeavor for, and by all means, I think that YouTube right now, video for YouTube that is translatable both to Facebook and Instagram and email, by the way, having something there or starting something, whether it's, you know, silly stuff at home with your family, real estate tips, community information, or just stuff about you, it's all beneficial information to share as you're comfortable with it. Now, obviously, some people are much more comfortable sharing a lot of things than others are. I get it. I'm not as comfortable I'm not as comfortable doing the whole sharing of stuff with my family on video as I am doing business related video topics, right? But I need to get a little bit more comfortable just shedding some light on that side of life. Because at the end of the day, right now, when we can't connect face to face, which is where we all want to do ultimately, then we need to connect face to face in a different way. YouTube is the first and only place I think that you can start, and then leverage the other platforms based on what you want to do. But I think that more than anything, it's start. And how do we create digital content? There's a few different just specific ways that I feel like right now more than ever, and I feel like I catch myself saying that all the time, right now more than ever, but it's true. To be present and to be focused on not neglecting the elephant in the room. And I'll share another piece with you that and this doesn't really apply to anything other than I think it is really neat, but the company had shared a bunch of different advertisements over the past week, and one of which was with the Greenville Journal, and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services C.Dan Joyner was the only one that addressed the elephant in the room, that is the virus, in our print marketing with the Greenville Journal. And I think that's phenomenal. I mean, for us now to be present, but to be honest with what we're doing and how we're reaching out, it's paramount. And in any way, shape, or form, however we can be present. But also understand that right now, our message and the words that we're choosing, the things that we're saying, the stuff that we're posting about, you know, April Fool's Day came the other day. I mean, and how many people really sat on some jokes that they really wanted to tell, but now just was not the right time, and who wasn't paying attention, and an automated post came out and somebody looked tone deaf as a result of a post that came out. I mean, I'm not singling anybody out individually, but that happened. I'm not aware of any individual examples, but I guarantee you there were some. And that person's reputation is probably going to be tarnished for quite some time. So now more than ever, everything that we say and do kind of matters, especially if it's public facing. And the next thing is that we just need to right now show everybody that we're touching that we care. We all know that we care. We all care about the people that we're working with. could work with in the future, or just our friends in general. I'm going to make a challenge to every single person that's on this call and every single person that watches this recording. Call 5 people in your phone that you haven't talked to in at least 2 years. And the conversation goes exactly like this. Hey, it's been way too long. I'm going to get past that, and I'm just going to say, I was just wondering how you were doing. That's it. Where the conversation goes from there, it does not matter. I bet I had a friend of mine in my group that made the same exact challenge to me yesterday morning. And I called a friend that I went to high school with that I haven't talked to in like 15 years and still had the same cell phone number for whatever reason. We talked for an hour and a half. Right now, it's to show you care, and it's to really care. And that empathy actually translated into making some more phone calls and writing some notes to some people from a business perspective. It filled my bucket up a little bit. And then on top of that, just making a goal for myself each week to how many people can I touch and just say, I hope you're doing okay. Whether it's past clients, whether it's other people in the business, whether it's personal friends, whatever it may be, now's the time to really just love on everybody, because we all kind of need that right now. And so how do we do all that stuff? Why does that translate into digital marketing for a real estate agent right now in a very uncertain time? So it's just looking at right now all of these different platforms and how can we use these things to just show just exactly what good humans we are. And so Videolicious and everybody's either knows what the program is very well versed in it, or has absolutely no idea what it is or what it does. Long story short, it's a video editing program that's very clean, very cut and dried, simple, user-friendly, but it also does have some pretty interesting editable components to it that can allow you to create some pretty high quality videos in a very short period of time, and even just from your mobile device. If you're interested in doing video content that's shorter or just have a little bit more production rather than just holding your phone up to your face and doing the whole selfie thing, hey, just checking in, wanted to see how you were doing, yada, 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 and then click. It is an extremely great tool. And if you want some more information on it, please get with me and I can help you with any speed bumps on it. You know, the second 3, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, those are just the big 3 to hit on. Videolicious is the ability for you to create the content that you would then put out, but Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are the big 3 that need to, anything that you do right now needs to be posted to all 3 of those platforms, bar none. I mean, anything that goes on any of those platforms, any one needs to go on all 3 if it's in video format, obviously. AdWorks, now is the time that people are on their computers. People are shopping online like nobody has ever seen. I mean, I cannot tell you how much time my wife has spent on her computer buying everything from the East Coast to the West Coast to China to Japan to India to anywhere. I mean, she's buying anything they'll let her buy right now. And that's troubling to me in a different way. But those things, just as an example, yesterday, I was on a certain website looking for, I saw a recipe that somebody shared with me. I'm on this website and I've got the page up, and then I get on the phone and I'm just looking randomly a couple of different times at the same monitor, same website, about a 45-minute span. I saw Jane Ellison, I saw Jennifer Davis, and I saw Matt Carter, all 3 of them pop up on a Berkshire Hathaway Home Services printed branded advertisement on the same website in the same block in a 45-minute span. There's no real messaging that's attached to that, but right now where people's eyeballs are focused, it doesn't hurt you to be in front of it. It doesn't hurt you to have a seat at the table. You know, yes, the tables might have turned on us from an industry perspective, or maybe turning right now, but it's important that we still have a chair at the table. The next piece of it is utilizing our CRM, or at least just cleaning our CRM up again, or getting it in line, or being mindful of who is it that's in there that I haven't touched, that I need to touch, to then go just say, I'm checking on you. A person, nothing to do with real estate. In fact, I would almost shy away from anybody other than somebody that directs to you. You know, actually, that's interesting. I'm so glad that you called. It's really crazy. Are you still in real estate? Or because we were actually thinking about getting our home ready for sale right now. We're using this time all being home. We just kind of looked around and decided that whatever the situation might be, unless they prompt you for it, I'd say walk away from the real estate talk for a period of the next 2 or 3 months. Unless they give it to you. But the most important thing for us is if we're not present, we're not there at all. This and all of these digital platforms just help us have a larger speaking platform from which we can go out into the world and just show that we're good people, on top of the fact that we're hardworking professionals. And the next couple, obviously text messaging. And more specifically, what I'm thinking about and what I've been doing is video text messaging. Shoot a 30-second video and send it to somebody. It's way easier than a voicemail. It takes less time. And it's something they can hold with them and actually see you in a time where a lot of people can't really communicate face-to-face. That's a huge thing for us to utilize right now. And even too, if you're looking at it from a business perspective, now is a great time to utilize a platform for mass text messaging. A platform for mass text messaging, not mass text messaging, because everybody loves being included on that mass text with like 30 different numbers that they have absolutely no idea who that number is. And then somebody replies all, and you're like, I got no clue who that person is. Now's the time to utilize good technology. One of the best services for mass text messaging is an app called Reach. Just like Reach Out and Touch, free app that offers some purchase. Obviously, there's some higher tiers of that because it is a business building platform first and foremost. So there are some pay for services that are involved with that, but it's something to just look into. And there are a bunch of other ones. Reach is just one that I've used in the past. The next two really are centered around the business that we already have in the pipeline, listings specifically, and one is video walkthroughs and FaceTime showings. Now, what I would advise would be to just post, whether it's even a selfie video of you in front of the house. Welcome to 333 Banana Street. I'm Richard. I want to show you 333 Banana Street, right? And then going through the house in a walkthrough, or cutting that into other video that you may have had done. Doesn't have to be long, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Maybe even it's just kind of walking around through the front door into the living room, describe a couple of facts about the home, and contact me at 555-555-5555, or email me if you have any questions. And also posting that to the various social sites. If you want to, you have the listing, it's still doing the right thing by the seller to have that video walkthrough. Or on the flip side, if you have a buyer, showing them through via FaceTime, or offering up a recorded video that is a showing that then you can have, instead of, let's say, for example, with a shelter-in-place order that comes into effect, you're not going to be able to physically show people through a property. it might be a good time for you as the realtor to then go in, shoot that video, and have that on deck if any listing agent or if any buyer's agent comes in and says, hey, I want to show this house, you can just give them the link to the video for sharing. And again, email. Right now, email is good. I think email with video is better. So email with video, and a service that I use, it's called BombBomb. BombBomb is a great tool to use. And if you've been on the fence about it, or if you want to be on the fence about BombBomb, now is a great time to inspect that product. It is extremely productive. And in terms of digital marketing and advertising, it's affordable. So, really here, the main key, while there's 11 things over here on the left-hand side, the main key really is to pick what resonates with you and dive in. And just to understand that I'm here to help. And while you two can make this shift, while the whole world is just trying to figure out how to make it through the day, it's manageable. And I want to make it manageable. I want to help you guys implement these tools to benefit you, not today, because today, the stuff we're doing today is the lead measure. What am I going to pick? Am I going to give video a shot? Am I going to start video text messaging? Am I going to look into cleaning up my CRM? Am I going to start with finally do some promotion on AdWorks? Am I going to do some video walkthroughs, FaceTime showings, whatever it is, pick it, go with it, and know that I'm here as the accountability partner through all that. You don't have to be Snoopy just wondering what's going to go on next. Okay? I'm here, and I want to be here, because really for us right now, it's just to focus on what we can control. And if we focus on that, I'm going to tear something out of Jared James's book. If you focus on results, you get frustration. If you focus on process, you get results. The process is what's the tool I'm going to use right now that can carry me through today, 6 months from now. Questions? I'll open the floor up to anybody. Well, listen, I mean, I know that this is, I hope that it was something that we can all take and use. I mean, really, even if it's, another thing too is curbside marketing. The text writers, even if you send something out or update an ad with the text number, text upstate to 59555, I think is what the number is. Even if it's that, just knowing that we've got a bunch of digital resources at our beck and call. Yes, absolutely, DTR and zip forms and the ability to utilize AdWorks and our website, all of that stuff still holds true. Curbside closings, I mean, everything can be done virtually. We can keep on moving. The new market hasn't stopped. It's just the new market is new to all of us. And there's just a couple of other things that we can keep doing that we can control on a day-to-day basis that hopefully when we get out of this on the other side, like we said, we don't know when that's going to happen, but when we get out of it on the other side, we'll be better as a result of it. Okay, I mean, any questions at all, or anything that anybody else wants to discuss, wants me to hit on, or wants me to elaborate on right now? Okay. Well, I trust that the silence means that I did a good job and that everybody's not bored to tears. So seriously, I'm here for you. Let me know what I can do to help, but I'm absolutely serious in that. Right now, let's make a commitment to getting something done that we haven't done in the past. to allow us to connect to people on a virtual basis, to connect with more people, but just to be real about it. Okay. Thank you all. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope you all stay safe, and maybe we'll do a virtual happy hour here shortly.
Sounds good.
It might make us all feel a little bit better, right?
Yeah. Can we start at like 10 a.m.?
You know, it's sort of like I believe that airport rules have been invoked. So if you want nachos at 7 a.m., you can do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Talk to
Richard.
you soon. You got it.
Bye.
Thank you all.